my whole thing is speaking out, doing the action, and joining people from all over the world.
Yeah.
We actually create local change and global dialogue.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to Conversations with MM. This is Marivir Montibon here in my bedroom. This is quite a half of my bedroom, so welcome to my bedroom and to this episode. Happy International Women's Month. It's March, and we're winding up. Today actually is the last day of the CSW 70. CSW means the Commission on the Status of Women, and I am honored to be actively part of the sessions, being a UN representative on behalf of the Women's Federation for World Peace International. So we had a lot of activities, two major ones and one in active partnership, and all the rest, like we have been attending quite several events, side events that's related to women empowerment. This year, the CSW 70 revolves on the theme on strengthening access to justice for women and girls. So around those lines, all the activities and conversations were meant to empower women to have access to justice. So on March 6th until the 8th, we have successfully concluded a leadership and advocacy training at the New Yorker Hotel, and our trainer was Dr. Rio Santos. He is an IT expert and a governance expert. He works on behalf of the UN Office for Project Services, and it was meant to enable the leaders of Women's Federation to enhance their organizational capacity, to manage the organizations nationwide. We have 128 organizations, by the way, that are affiliated with the Women's Federation, and the Women's Federation has a general consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. So here in New York, it is being led by Ms. Marley Barlaan as the Women's Federation Vice President for Administration and the UN Relations Office's Director. So Marley is the one on the right, on the left on this picture, and Dr. Rio Santos is in the middle, the main trainer, and Romana Khan was one of the resource person. Romana is an IT expert and also an educator and an entrepreneur in Melbourne, Australia. So there were about 50 participants to the training, which was on March 6, 7, 8. And at the end of the session, the participants were certified to be UN advocacy officers for their respective countries. So that was quite a training. It was difficult, very technical. You have to align your reporting to the technical format of the UN. So it's only meant to make you visible and be heard in that system, because according to Dr. Santos, what you're doing is already a contribution to the improvement of humanity. You just have to align your activities and reporting so that it will be counted and acknowledged in the international body, the UN, The UN is a community of nations. It's composed of the member states or the governments. It's also composed of civil society organizations that are being accredited by the UN through a very rigorous process. And so, kudos to Marily for leading and sustaining such accreditation. It's difficult. It's very tedious and challenging, but we're there. So I'm honored to be part of it. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, um, I have been skirting around the UN for several years now, and it's only now since I finished my doctoral course that I had more time to focus on the nitty gritty of working in the diplomatic space of the UN. So it's very enriching for me, and it's a good source of really direct information from the actors on the ground, the women leaders, the diplomats. And so this is a platform where women still could amplify their voices. And on my part, I bring on to the table the amplification of these experiences and stories and messages holding power to account, as well as providing the space for women leaders to share their transformative stories of development and improvement. So it's all good. I've never been as vigorous as before, and in this specific space at the UN. Okay, so let me share with you my conversation. This is so great. I love this conversation with Anna Fierst. Anna Eleanor Roosevelt Fierst is a great granddaughter of Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt is a wonderful First Lady of the US, and she has been serving as a diplomat as well. Let me show the picture. This is Eleanor Roosevelt and her daughter Anna on the left. And then you have in the middle the picture of Ellie or Eleanor, the granddaughter of Eleanor Roosevelt. Her name is also Eleanor. And in this upcoming conversation is her daughter, Anna Eleanor. So it's 4 generations of women, and we look back and acknowledge Eleanor Roosevelt as the prime mover of the crafting of the International Declaration of Human Rights after we were all suffering. The world was suffering after World War II. So the UN was created in order to have a platform where countries can talk, and instead of engaging in war immediately. So Eleanor Roosevelt was the one who crafted the International Declaration of Human Rights so that it becomes a guide to every country and in promoting the development and the right of people to live decently, to live in safety, to live with education, to have access to food, and to develop their full potential as persons. So personally, I look up to Eleanor Roosevelt as one of the greatest leaders in the world. So this conversation with her great-granddaughter, Anna Eleanor Fierst, is also an honor as a journalist. So let's take a listen to this. So did you have time to be with your grandma? Did you meet her?
Yes, I do remember her as a child.
Personally, what is your memory of her as a grandchild?
Just as actually a very warm and fun person when I was a child, so she didn't talk about diplomacy with me.
Yeah, she was grandma.
She was a terrific great-grandmother, very generous with her time, and very loving.
What inspiration did you get from her in terms of leadership?
I think her ability to connect with people and her willingness to talk to and explain and just be a diplomat, essentially.
So did you have her spirit as well?
Well, I don't have her energy level, which was phenomenal. as I said in my speech, she had Theodore Roosevelt's energy level, which was beyond any normal sort of scope.
Yeah.
I have a normal level, but in terms of her feminist perspective, I think that's really where I get inspiration.
You got it from her.
Because she really was a feminist at heart. She never talked about being a feminist, but she was
just doing it.
At heart. And also just somebody whose social justice was so important to her and has become important to me.
Amazing.
It did become important to me. So she's an example that I'm very fortunate we had her in my family as an example. And, what a person to try to live up to, right?
Thank you so much.
You can't get there.
Thank you, Anna.
Try.
Right, awesome. Okay, so that conversation took place at the UN Delegates Dining Room after the Bridge of Peace program, which was the closing program sponsored by the Women's Federation for World Peace International and WFWP USA. So Anna was the keynote speaker. Now let me tell you something about the Bridge of Peace. It is a program which is a brand of the Women's Federation for World Peace. It provides the platform for healing and forgiveness among warring countries, for example, or warring families or warring friends who are having a misunderstanding or could not get along for some reason. So the Bridge of Peace is a ceremony where initially people talk and then they agree to reconcile and heal. So that's the program that's being promoted by the Women's Federation. And so in this picture, you'll see Anna on the right and her cousin, Miss Alexa Ward. Their families are belong to different political spectrums in the U.S. So one is Republican, the other is Democrat. And so they heal this political difference by understanding that they're family, they're sisters, and whatever differences there are, there should be much better commonalities than just political difference. So that's an example of the program on Bridge of Peace. And thank you so much to Miss Kaylee Moffitt, the president of UPF, and Katarina Connery, the president of Women's Federation USA, for explaining it very seamlessly and in a very personal level why that program is important. It's more ceremonial, more than just ceremonial. It is historical, it is cultural, that so that people could understand that barriers could be crossed or could be changed if you have a level of listening and the attitude and humility of seeking forgiveness and working together for a common cause or common good. So that was truly heartwarming. Okay, so and then I also had a conversation with a young Ukrainian leader. Her name is Nina Salamatova. Nina is a refugee from Ukraine who moved several times over from Ukraine during the war. Her family moved to Romania, then Canada and many other countries, and finally in the US. So let's take a listen to Nina, who I had a conversation with at the auspices of the UN. Hi, Nina. Thank you for this conversation. So tell us about your objective of coming to the UN. What do you want to tell the public and governments regarding the situation in Ukraine?
Thank you so much. I'm Nina Salamatova. I'm the youngest member of the independent delegation of Ukrainian women to the United Nations, and my objective this year is peace building and advocacy for youth engagement in global processes. So I'm passionate about joining youth from all over the world to combat war that is spreading every day to every single country and every single city. My personal story is that when the war started, I moved to Romania, I moved to Canada, I moved to US, and throughout those years I traveled across about 10 countries.
How old were you when you moved out?
I moved a lot.
How old were you when you moved out?
The war started in 2022, the full-scale invasion, and I was only 15 years old at that time, so now I'm 19.
Wow. So how does that personally impacted you? How are you coping with this?
Coping with war specifically?
Yes.
My coping is advocacy. My coping is speaking out, doing the action, and joining people from all over the world. So for example, in US, I currently study political science in Middlesex College, and I founded the biggest political science club on campus, where we promote discussions and we promote dialogues about the current issues. So instead of just going out and discussing what's going on, we actually create local change and global dialogues.
So if you are going to talk to the president of Ukraine and the and the Russian president, what are you going to tell them?
To both of them, if they're both in the room?
Yes. You being a diplomat, an advocate for peace and for women's rights, what will you tell them?
For me, the most important part is humanity, and really reminding ourselves that what is the human consequence of our actions? And I think people in power always forget what's the human consequence. So we need to start dialogue, and we need to have this one-to-one conversations like we now have with you in order to succeed in any peace building or any diplomacy or any action.
Thank you so much.
For Putin, I don't have any words to say to Putin, because I think that's a situation that's uncurable in that head, unfortunately. But the people of Russia have the power to stop this, so they need to understand what's going on, and I think that's the only way of doing this, really connecting with each other, sharing experiences, and inspiring each other to make a better change in the world and stop all the wars that are happening right now.
Amazing. Do you have an activity for CSW this week?
We have a parallel event on Friday.
Tell us about it.
So we're going to talk about PTSD, we're going to talk about demining, because currently Ukraine is the most mined country in the whole world. And it will take over 300 years to demine Ukraine. And it's not only about Ukraine. We will talk about Cambodia, we will talk about Japan, and our delegation will share personal experiences about war. And at the end, we will all talk about what can we all do towards peace and to create a world without mines.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time and all the best.
There you go. Nina Salamatova, young girl, age 19. She's a student at Middlesex in New Jersey, and she is a refugee of war from Ukraine and is now in her college, second year college, taking up political science and doing organizing work and bringing out her voice to stop the war. Now, isn't that amazing? That's youth empowerment, and that's being brave and vocal to voice out one's position to create peace, which the world badly needs. So stop the war. So people should speak up, and because this is not benefiting humanity. So thank you so much, Nina, for this great conversation with you. We were right across the entrance of the UN, and it was noisy, but we made the most of it during that warm afternoon. Also, I had a conversation with a Polish princess who is a global peace ambassador. She did not introduce herself as a princess, and of course I wouldn't know. And Nina introduced her to me as their global ambassador for peace. So wonderful conversation with this lady, Jessica. So Princess Jessica of Poland. Let's listen to her.
Hello, Angelika. Thank you so much for this interview. Tell me about your advocacy for Ukraine and why are you doing it?
I'm international peace peace ambassador, but also humanitarian. Years ago, I initiated a global campaign of movement from my word, One Mind, One Life. And for many years, I've been actively dedicated to humanitarian activities in Ukraine. With Ukrainian women, independent delegation of Ukrainian women to United Nations for many years. We always participate in CSW and NGO CSW forum. We are always active, organized many parallel events and events for Ukraine. Especially close to my heart is a situation with landmines in Ukraine right now, and the contamination. Ukraine became the largest minefield in the world, and it takes strong support of local and global communities to deal with this problem right now. What is more, through these years, I organized many humanitarian transports to Ukraine with many organizations and my partners. We brought equipment to the hospitals, children pediatric wards. I also organized a contest for children to teach them how to express emotion, also deal with trauma. Those were contests, children painting peace on earth. And the paintings of Ukrainian children, I brought them to United Nations, and a few years ago I made a special exhibition. Also on special events in Poland, on galas, where these paintings were dedicated and donated for children, Ukrainian children from orphanages. So children were supporting children.
I see. That's cool. Why is this very personal to you?
It is very personal to me, mostly because I have many Ukrainian friends. So I'm from Poland, so it's always very natural for me to think about Ukraine and the situation there. Years ago, because it was almost 8 years ago, I remember that I had a press conference in Kiev with Ukrainian leaders, Ukrainian women like Salamatova, the head of Ukrainian delegations, and we spoke about the situation with landmine contamination in eastern Ukraine, about destroyed schools, destroyed hospitals. So it was very vital for us to advocate the situation, even 8 years, 7 years ago. So this humanitarian work for Ukraine, for children most of all, is very constant and became part of my life. But as a global humanitarian global citizen, I work with and operate with in many areas of the world, in Africa, in Asia as well. So, but Ukraine is always an apple in the eye, and I'm very blessed to be here with such a wonderful women who came from Kyiv, came from different parts of Ukraine to be here at my parallel event, which will be dedicated to PTSD and demining action, and to be a part, participate, and to speak about the situation. And their effort, their work is really priceless. They do marvelous work. There will be also a presentation of my book, Young Changemakers Stories, and also documentary which I prepared about PTSD, about global anti-landmine campaign and situation in Cambodia called Echoes Inside.
So you're so busy.
Yes, indeed.
Well, making most of your time, right? Do you live here in New York?
No, actually I live mostly in Warsaw, but I travel a lot. Despite humanitarian activities, I'm also active women in business, so I try to combine those two things. So humanitarian work is my great passion, but in the meantime I'm also into the books. Publishing house, we have our family publishing house.
I see.
Also in art industry as well. So when I'm in New York, it's a city which brings me so much energy and inspiration, which I love so much.
I can see that.
I feel blessed to be there.
Yes, thank you and all the best. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much for this inspiring conversation, and have a wonderful time at CSW.
Yes, you as well. Thank you.
Okay, that was Princess Angelika Sapieha of Poland. Thank you for that conversation. It's good to not know that she's of nobility, because we just talk naturally, and she was a woman leader, a very committed one to peace and to reach out to people in need. So it was good. Like, it was a very easy breezy conversation, and she's very cool. She doesn't have this arrogant demeanor. So very laid back, actually, and yet doing so much. That's what leadership is really all about. Just do what you want, do what you can for the sake of public good and for the sake of justice, for the sake of peace. Thank you so much for that conversation, Princess Angelika. And more. There's another one I had a good conversation with. Her name is Vera Chen. Vera is the youngest participant of the WFWPI's leadership and advocacy training. Let's take a listen to her.
Okay.
I had a deep connection with the experience. It was truly wonderful, and to see two countries.
Hold on. Okay, good.
Hello, I'm with Vera. She's our youngest trainee for the CSW 70 session of Women's Federation for World Peace International.
I'm just putting on my
Vera,
shoes.
what is your takeaway during the
I'll be
training
right
and at the Bridge of Peace? How do you
Okay.
I had a deep connection with the experience. It was truly wonderful, and to see two countries with conflicts crossing each other, like overcoming their conflicts and overcoming, like, because they used to have like fights, but seeing them making peace and helping each other, it's just very sentimental and touching. I truly love it.
So as a youth leader, what do you hope to contribute? Which specific work do you want to do?
I think for me, it would be delightful to work in the UN. I would really love to have a job in the UN because
As what?
as actually, I have a big dream. I want to try out as Secretary General.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
All the best. You have a lot of work to do.
Thank you, dear. Yeah, I want to help the world. I want to help women. I want to let women to know they also have the potential, and I think the most important thing is like education. So yes, I want to help girls and women with education.
All the best to you, and thank you for your enthusiasm and your energy. Thanks, Vera. This is all for now. Okay, that was Vera Chen, 13 years old, enthusiastic, upcoming leader, and wonderful articulation of what she wants to do to be of great contribution to women's empowerment. She wants to educate women and girls. Perfect, because with education, correct education, you enable women to become articulate and to take action on the specific fields of interest that they want to be part of, whether that's being a teacher, being a local political leader, a businesswoman, everything, a scientist. So education is key. Thank you, Vera, and all the best to you. And thanks to your dad, for Shelton, for doing the camera work for both of us. That was amazing. Thank you so much. And so that wraps up our events, which was spearheaded by the Women's Federation for World Peace International. But there's also another message I'd like to convey. Congratulations to the launch of Huddle, Herd Huddle. And this is led by the beautiful and very committed, active woman leader, Miss Ivana De La Torre. Congratulations, Ivana. And to your coach, Isabella De La Torre. We had an event at the One Vanderbilt. It's Huddle. It's an unstructured kind of event, an interaction among participants, but we discussed very important topics: women leaders, access to justice, access to economic support, access to leadership trainings, and access to economic opportunities. So thank you so much. And I'd like to thank the support of my friends who were there. We needed help, and there they are. Dr. Derly Fernandez and Susan Pineda joined the event and made it more vibrant and meaningful, because my circle of friends, my my supportive, feisty friends came there too. So this was brought to you by also in support of Women's Federation, by Herd Huddle, and WOW, or that's Women of the World Coaching. Isa is based in UK, and while Ivana, the organizer, the curator, is based in Manila. So that's a wonderful meeting that we had, and hopefully after the takeoff in New York, the Herd Huddle will have a continuing presence in Southeast Asia, because it's a platform for women leaders, specifically in Southeast Asian region. So all the best. And last but not least, I'd like to share this video with you. You know, that last January, we concluded the first ever Permaculture Education Summit and Immersive Tour in the Philippines. So we'd like to share this video. And thank you so much to the support of Cebu, Sir Bob Bahinting, Sue Vergara, and CITU most especially, and in Bohol, Miss Arlene Cabusao, and Mario and Beck Barrete. Thank you so much for your leadership in the locality, and all the mayor of Cebu City, Mayor Nestor Archival. Thank you so much. Right now, the people are so engaged and excited. The permaculture design and training is going on. So thank you. Our contribution was only to just like kick it a little bit, give it a little kick para magsugod ang regenerative approaches to sustainable development, which is the heart of a transformative society, going back to nature and empowering women. So let's take a look at this.
ba?
That was wonderful. One of the best experiences this year. Wow, it's difficult to surpass that because it's so vigorous and meaningful, like really working on the ground. But 2026 will be another wonderful year of good graces and activities that will empower women. Thank you so much once again, Cebu, CITU, Mayor Nestor Archival, Sir Bobby Bahinting. Sorry if I would not be able to mention everyone. I'd like to thank also Joel Lee and of course Vanette Colmenares, my very good friend who has been with us as the key person in Cebu, and Mariam and everybody, and in Bohol. Thank you so much for the effort, and my classmate Joy Maramara, who's been so invested and excited to do her own permaculture. So projects also in Bohol. And so thank you so much. This has been a wonderful conversation, an episode with all of you. So thank you so much. Time flies. We're over 40 minutes. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Till the next episode. And remember, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Bye for now.
Her feminist perspective, I think that's really where I get it.
You got it from her.
Social justice was so important to her and has become important to me.
We became very mindful of our environment and our planet. And we took baby steps. Of course, everything is about baby steps.
Yeah.
We just had to make our programs bigger and it could reach more people.
Toronto is so culturally diverse because there's so many Filipinos in Toronto. But what I don't like is higher education. There's